Hi. I am Gladys John Patalinghug from University of Cebu Lapu-Lapu in Mandaue campus, and I will be presenting the administrative provisions of CMO 22-2010 or the Revised Customs Port Operations Manual. Before I'll start my presentation, I would like to inform all of you that I will be using a text-to-speech audio in this entire video for more pronunciation quality. Now let's begin. Section 1. The Bay Service or Equivalent. The Bay Service section is in charge of boarding formalities and the entrance and clearance of foreign vessels. It supervises and implements security measures in the discharging/loading of import/export shipments, as well as to incoming/outgoing crew, passengers and visitors on board such vessels. The Bay Service section shall be headed by a chief, who shall have direct supervision and control over all personnel therein. He shall issue instructions to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer, and who shall in turn be held responsible for their proper execution of the instructions given from time to time and to render reports. Section 2. Uniforms and Insignia for Pier and Inspection Division. The Chief, Bay Service Section, Customs Senior Boarding Officers, Customs Inspectors, Customs Guards and Wharfingers shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, customs badge, black shoes and regulation cap. Section 3. Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operations Officer 3 or the Customs Senior Boarding Officers. In its subsection A, Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall have the following duties and responsibilities. 1. Board incoming foreign vessels outside the breakwater or harbor, unless prevented by stress of weather. When boarding a vessel, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall be assisted by the Customs Inspector assigned on a vessel. The Chief, Bay Service Section, Customs Senior Boarding Officers, Customs Inspectors, Customs Guards and Wharfingers shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, customs badge, black shoes and regulation cap. During boarding formalities, only the Customs Senior Boarding Officer and the Customs Inspector shall be allowed to enter Captain's cabin unless the Captain chooses to give the boarding information to the Customs Senior Boarding Officers outside the Captain's cabin. 2. Obtain from the master of a vessel the necessary information as required in BOCOPM Form Number 15, Records of Vessel Boarded. 3. Seal sea stores in the presence of ship's officer and the customs inspector assigned on board. Under penalty of law, the customs seal so affixed shall not be broken while the vessel is within the jurisdictional limits of the Philippines, except if, when the vessel is in port and only upon written application to withdraw supplies signed by the master and approved by Collector of Customs or his duly authorized representatives. Only the Customs Senior Boarding Officer, in the presence of the Customs Inspector, may break the seal and allow the withdrawal of such quantities as may be authorized, and reseal the sea store compartment after such withdrawal. Sea stores when adjusted by the Collector of Customs to be excessive or when duties assessed thereon are not paid. Such excess sea stores shall be treated as that provided for in Section 2530 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines, as amended. 4. See to it that all customs inspectors and customs guards on duty are in their proper prescribed uniforms. Unless the customs inspectors are properly uniformed, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall not allow their embarking on the launch and shall report them as absent. In such cases, he can assign any available unassigned customs inspector, or if no customs inspector is available, an acting customs inspector to take charge of the vessel until a regular customs inspector assigned reports in proper uniform. In case of necessity, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer can temporarily take charge of the vessel until the regular customs inspector is on board. In every case, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall, without delay, report his action to the Chief, Bay Service Section, or its equivalent office. 5. See to it that a customs inspector or customs guard assigned to a vessel is provided with the necessary stationery and supplies. He shall also see to it that customs inspectors have a copy of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines and a manual for port operations. Subsection B. Report of Customs Senior Boarding Officers. 1. Upon his return from an official trip in the Bay, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall transmit to the Chief, Bar Service Section, or its equivalent office, all reports, entries and other documents delivered to him by the Master, Agent or the Customs Inspector assigned on board vessels. 2. He shall prepare and submit his trip report on BOCOPM Form Number 15, records of vessel boarded, to the Chief, Bay Service Section, or its equivalent office, and make reports of any deviation from the assignment order issued to the Customs Inspectors and Customs Guards. Section 4. Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operations Officer 1. Customs Inspectors. A. Customs Inspectors shall have the following duties and responsibilities. 1. Supervise the discharge and loading of cargo and to supervise continuous surveillance to protect the interests of the Customs Service, pursuant to Section 2202 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines, as amended. 2. Be responsible for the proper disposal of all cargo and stores aboard vessels under their charge. It is their duty to see that no cargo or stores of any description are discharged from, or received on, the vessel without authority from the Collector of Customs, or his authorized representative. 3. Represent the Customs Service in his official relations with the passengers, ship's officers, owners, agents and consignees, and should see to it that the dignity of the service is not impaired. 4. Stay in the vessel to which he has been assigned until he is relieved by proper authority, except as hereinafter provided, or it be necessary in the interest of the service that immediate action be taken. 5. Honor any order, request, or permit of any description only from the following named officials. A. Commissioner of Customs or Deputy Commissioner of Customs. B. Collector of Customs or Deputy Collector for Operations. C. Chief or Assistant Chief, Piers and Inspection Division. D. Chief, Bay Service Section. E. Customs Senior Boarding Officers. 6. Endeavor to work in harmony at all times with Customs employees of other divisions and with the immigration officers on board with respect to the enforcement of immigration laws, rendering assistance to those officials in the performance of their duties. In case of Philippine registered vessels returning from abroad, conducts mustering of crew, pursuant to Section 1011 of the CMTA as amended. 7. Cooperate with quarantine authorities in the enforcement of port quarantine regulations promulgated by the Bureau of Quarantine and shall give effect to the same, insofar as they are connected with matters of shipping and navigation, pursuant to Section 605 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. 8. Familiarize themselves with the provisions of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines, as amended, Customs Administrative Orders, Customs Memorandum Orders and circulars issued by the Bureau of Customs pertinent to their duties. 9. Refer the matter to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer or Chief, Bay Service Section for decision, in case he is in doubt as to the proper action to be taken. Subsection B. Specific duties upon assuming charge of res. 1. It shall be the first duty of a customs inspector upon assuming charge of a vessel, especially a passenger vessel, to immediately assign a customs guard at each accommodation ladder or gangway with the instruction not to allow persons to board the vessel without a written pass, excepting the stevedores to attend to the discharging or loading of cargoes. 2. The customs inspector shall instruct customs guards assigned on the gangway to conduct body searches, if necessary, on all persons boarding or disembarking from the vessel. 3. While the vessel is docked at the pier or wharf, the customs inspector shall make periodic inspection to ascertain that all ropes and cables from vessel to dock are provided with rat guards and that adequate safeguards are employed, such as the covering of the holes through which ropes and cables pass. 4. If the vessel docks at night, the customs inspector shall require proper lighting at the gangway. 4. If the vessel docks at night, the customs inspector shall require proper lighting at the gangway. He should impress upon them the necessity of courtesy in their official dealings with passengers, ship's officers, consignees, and other concerned. He shall instruct them that all disputes and all questions wherein the element of doubt enters should be submitted immediately to the customs inspector on board and satisfy himself that the customs guard to whom he issues instructions thoroughly understands so that errors may be avoided. 2. He shall report to the customs senior boarding officer on duty the unexplained absence of any customs guard assigned to him. 3. An efficiency report for customs guards shall be submitted by the customs inspector for each vessel of which he is in charge. Customs guards, who are incompetent, negligent in the performance of their official duties, or guilty of disobedience, shall be the subject of a special informal report, who shall be submitted with the efficiency report. 4. He shall maintain a logbook to keep a record of events, during his tour of duty, to include customs guards sent ashore or to another vessel on official business specifying the following: A. Time of departure. B. Nature of business. C. Destination. D. Where and when he is to report upon the completion of his business. E. Time returned. When customs guards are ordered to report to the customs senior boarding officer's launch at a certain time, a similar note shall be given, addressed to the customs senior boarding officer. These records shall always be rendered on the logbook furnished to customs inspectors, so that absent customs guards can be accounted for. 5. It is essential that an accurate check be secured on all cargoes discharged from, and loaded on, a vessel. Customs inspectors shall instruct their customs guards to check independently of other checkers, and to submit their customs guard report. 6. He shall submit the discharging sequence and/or inward foreign manifest duly received in the logbook by the customs wharfinger. Subsection D. Report after termination of duty. A customs inspector, returning to shore after the vessel of which he was in charge has sailed, or returning to station from an outport assignment, shall immediately report to the Chief, Bay Service Section, or its equivalent office, and submit all reports relative to his assignment to the latter, who shall properly endorse them to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office. The customs inspector, upon submission of his reports, shall register the time and date of his vessel's departure in the priority listing of customs inspectors for assignments. A customs inspector who has not submitted his records and documents pertinent to his vessel assignment shall not be given assignment to a new vessel until he has submitted his reports and documents. The reports of a customs inspector shall include as supporting documents the following: 1. Duly accomplished inspector's certificate of lading, in case of break bulk and conventional cargoes. The original copy together with the export permits to be submitted to the export processing division concerned. 2. Shipside permits, if any, properly endorsed at he back thereof with accompanying transfer notes and customs guardies check report. 3. Accomplished certificate of inspection CL, certificate of identification and loading, CLL, if any. 4. Certificate of date of last cargo discharged accomplished by customs inspector on board and bearing the seal of the master of the vessel, to be submitted to the office of the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office. 5. Clearance of a vessel indicating therein the time and date the vessel actually sails and the berth assignment and the period of time the vessel stays at such berths and/or anchorage for transmittal to the customs clearance officer. 6. General permit issued by the customs senior boarding officer endorsed at the back thereof, and 7. All shipping documents required from the master upon boarding a vessel, permits properly endorsed, and reports of all violations of customs rules and regulations that may come into his attention. All permits, entries and other documents received by the customs inspector on board of a vessel shall be endorsed by him, upon completion of his portion of the action directed. Such endorsements shall always show: 1. The date when the action was accomplished. 2. The action taken, and 3. The portion of the action unaccomplished, except in some instances where another customs official is to perform the unaccomplished action. The date and the time of receipt of any official document shall always be noted therein by the customs inspector. Section 5. Port Utilization Section. The Port Utilization Section supervises the receiving, handling, custody, monitoring, movement and release of shipments at the piers/customs zone. The Port Utilization Section shall be headed by a chief who shall perform the following functions: 1. Supervise all wharfingers, assistant wharfing RS, customs guards assigned at container yards, outside CCFS and customs gatekeepers. 2. Act on all written reports submitted by the personnel under his supervision. 3. be responsible for the conduct, vigilance, efficiency, neat and clean appearance of all personnel under him. 4. Require all wharfingers, assistant wharfingers, customs guards, and customs gatekeepers to be in complete uniform while on duty. 5. Assign his personnel properly, apportioning their overtime as equitable and as fairly as possible. 6. Exercise direct supervision over customs gatekeepers. 7. Inspect piers, wharves, warehouses, container freight and the container terminal inside the customs zone as frequently as possible, submitting to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office, such reports as may be necessary. 8. See to it that cargoes are transferred properly and promptly to bonded carriers, bonded warehouse and private warehouses, covered by proper transfer notes. 9. Recommend to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office, for the interest of the service and with consultation with the wharfingers in charge of the piers, the reshuffling of personnel under him to the different piers. 10. Supervise the wharfingers in the preparation, rating and submission to the Chief of Division the performance rating of all personnel under them. He shall rate all wharfingers in charge of the piers. 11. Recommend any personnel who are deserving, capable and willing, pursuant to civil service rules and regulations for any promotion that are subject to be filled up. 12. Implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities with regard to his section. Section 6. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer, Wharfingers. Subsection A. At the pier/CV middle.cfs. 1. There shall be one wharfinger in charge of each pier, who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. 2. He shall exercise effective supervision over the arrastre contractor's service regarding receiving, handling, custody and delivery of cargoes. 3. He shall note carefully the condition of the fender piles and draft at the piers and submit reports thereon. 4. He shall cooperate and assist other officer of the government performing official function at the piers. 6. He shall cooperate with, and assist the Enforcement and Security Service, ESS, in maintaining peace and order at the pier, including the exclusion of unauthorized persons inside the pier shed/warehouse and premises. 7. He shall recommend the transfer and shifting of cargoes from pier to pier only, to government bonded warehouses inside and outside the customs premises. 8. He shall process delivery permits and other types of customs permits, vis-à-vis the official receipt statement of settlement of duties and taxes, SSDT, issued by the formal or informal entry division, prior to the release of cargo. 9. He shall, or through his authorized representative, accept delivery permits and other types of customs permits officially hand-carried by official messengers of the Bureau and shall properly distribute the same to concerned shed or warehouse wharfinger where the cargoes are stored. 10. He shall submit daily, weekly, monthly, and annual reports through proper channels, to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office. 11. He shall implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities. 12. He shall submit report of overstaying cargoes to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division, or its equivalent office. Subsection B. Outside CFS, off dock. 1. There shall be one wharfinger in charge of outside CFS, off dock, who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. 2. He shall receive the transfer note, inbound container and inward foreign manifest from the customs guard. 3. He shall supervise the stripping of the containers. 4. He shall receive the stripping tally sheet from the CFS warehouseman. 5. He shall process delivery permits and other types of customs permits, vis-à-vis the official receipt or statement of settlement of duties and taxes, SSDT, issued by the formal or informal entry division, prior to the release of cargo. 6. He shall see to it that the cargoes are released and delivered only to the proper parties in accordance with the marks, countermarks and registry number of the carrying vessel. 7. He shall assign a customs guard, prepare and sign transfer note as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones and bonded warehouses either inside or outside customs zone including coastwise transit cargoes and other places designated by customs. 8. In all cases of transfers of packed containers covered by warehousing permits or other permits where duties and taxes have not been paid, the container shall be sealed with a customs seal by the wharfinger concerned in the presence of the customs examiner concerned. Said wharfinger shall see to it that the containers transferred be under guarded until received at the customs bonded warehouse. 9. He shall maintain a logbook to record events such as examination made, hold/alert order, notice of warrant of seizure and detention, WSD, and samples taken. 10. He shall report to the collector of customs within 24 hours from the time the article is deemed abandoned and submit a monthly report on abandoned/overstaying cargoes to the office the Chief, Piers, and Inspection Division. Section 7. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer, designated Assistant Wharfingers. 1. Each cargo shed/warehouse shall be under the direct charge and supervision of an assistant wharfinger, who shall maintain his office inside the shed/warehouse. 2. He shall prepare, rate, and submit rating of his pier shed/warehouse customs guards to the wharfinger in charge of the pier. 3. He shall supervise the opening and closing of the cargo shed/warehouse. The keys shall be secured in his office and shall be returned in the box provided for in the zerooffice of the officer in charge of the pier after the shed/warehouse H has been closed. 4. He shall not allow unauthorized person inside the cargo shed/warehouse with or without operation. 5. He shall process all delivery permits pertaining to his shed/warehouse before authorizing delivery of cargo therefrom. 6. He shall supervise closely the activities of the customs guards assigned in his shed/warehouse. 7. He shall clear the pier berth of lighters and other obstructions during the berthing and or departure of vessel. 8. He shall assist the wharfinger in charge of the pier and to execute all his orders. 9. He shall prepare and sign transfer notes as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones and bonded warehouses either inside or outside customs zone including coastwise transit cargoes and other places designated by customs. 11. He shall coordinate with the Eurostre shed/warehouse security personnel and enforcement and security service, ESS, in the prevention of pilferage of cargoes and other anomalies to defraud the customs revenues. 12. He shall perform all functions that may be assigned to him from time to time by superior authorities. Section 8. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer, Customs Guards. Subsection A. At the pier/sci-middle.cfs. 1. A customs guard shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous and obnoxious cargoes are discharged on the dock without proper permit. 2. When assigned to delivery work, he shall scrutinize the delivery per wharfinger. 3. He shall check carefully the load on the truck against the gate pass issued in accordance with the mark, counter marks, registry number and total number of packages. 4. He shall see to it that all deliveries made are duly recorded on the customs guard's delivery sheet. 5. He shall see to it that the wharfinger's copy of the delivery permit is retained and the same to be forwarded to the wharfinger concerned upon the completion of the delivery. 6. When assigned as conduction guard, he shall see to it that the cargo destined for transfer reaches its destination safely and the covering transfer note properly signed by the warehouseman/storekeeper or wharfinger or customs guard concerned, as the case may be. Subsection B. On board vessel without proper permit. Outside CVCFS, off dock. 1. A customs guard shall assist the shed/warehouse wharfinger in supervising the receiving, handling, custody, delivery and stowage of cargo inside the shed/warehouse by the Eurostre operators, to include witnessing the stripping/deventing and sign the cargo stripping report. 2. He shall assist the shed/warehouse wharfinger in attending the inventory of bad order cargo and sign the bad order inspection certificate issued by the Eurostre operator. Subsection C. Others. A customs guard shall perform any other work or function that may be assigned to him from time to time by his superiors. Section 9. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer, designated Customs Gatekeepers. 1. A Customs Gatekeeper shall report punctually at the terminal gate assigned to him and shall remain there until properly relieved or otherwise directed to perform other duties by his superiors. The summary of this section talks about all the duties and responsibilities of the Customs Gatekeeper. Kindly just read the numbers 1 to 7 of this section for more details. Section 10. Reporting time of Customs personnel. The reporting time for Customs senior boarding officers, Customs inspectors, and Customs guards are as follows. 1. Customs senior boarding officers, Customs inspectors and observe regular working hours. They shall perform such duties as may be assigned to them by the Chief or Assistant Chief of the Division and the Chief, Bay Service Section, or its equivalent office. 2. Customs senior boarding officers, Customs inspectors and Customs guards assigned to vessels arriving before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m. shall report for duty at least 2 hours before the vessel's estimated time of arrival. Section 11. Meals and accommodations for designated Customs inspectors and Customs guards. Subsection A. On board vessel, the Customs senior boarding officer shall, wherein necessary, invite the if meals are not provided on board, the fact shall be certified by the master or chief steward of the vessel to entitle the Customs inspector and Customs guards to meal allowances at the rate provided for in existing regulations. Subsection B. To outports or travel expenses, Customs inspectors and Customs guards traveling at the request and expense of shipping lines or other entities snail be allowed suitable accommodations and actual and necessary expenses for board and lodging subject to existing rules and regulations. Customs officials and employees duly assigned ONL board vessels shall be furnished with suitable accommodations and free regular meals. Whenever meals are available on board a vessel, Customs inspector and Customs guards assigned thereon shall not take their meals ashore, except when there is good justification for doing so and only when at least a Customs guard is left on board. While traveling on official business, they shall be allowed suitable, actual and necessary transportation expenses, depending not only on the class and type of transportation used but also on the circumstances of time and place. They shall, however, use the most reasonable and expeditious means of transportation available, whether by land, water, air, to and from their destination. Where established and regular common carrier transportation services are available, such services shall be utilized whenever possible. The hire of special conveyance will be allowed only in extreme cases of emergency and where conveniently scheduled common carrier service is not available. Section 12. Leave of absence. Application for vacation leave shall be filed and approved before such leave of absence is enjoyed by any officer or employee, unless prevented by unforeseen circumstances beyond his control. Application for sick leave shall be filed within 2 days after return to duty and, if in excess of 3 days shall be supported a medical certificate. Any officer or employee detained by causes beyond his control and unable to report for duty at the prescribed hour of reporting must notify the office in which he is employed to that effect within 2 hours, if practicable, of such prescribed hour, on the first day of absence. Absence from duty without prior permission will be cause for disciplinary measure 5, unless satisfactorily explained.